Today we're going to draw a corner of the house. Now I'm in the motion of moving, so I do have a lot of things stacked up kind of randomly. I don't have a normal house right now. So this is a little side table with books, sketchbooks, a little table easel, and a lot of other books. But the corner is interesting to draw. There's one outside window and there's a front door with glass in it. The best thing is to get a little folding chair that you can easily move around with. Even if you draw things inside of the house, it's better than schlepping a whole big armchair to get the right view that you want, and you want to be in control, not the chair. So I found these chairs are very helpful, preferably really without armrests, because you will notice when you have the sketchbook on your lap, then the armrests are in the way. If you don't have that, like a fishing stool is good as well. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, but it's also easier to carry around. Find an easy way to do this. You have to be comfortable for a while, but you also need it to be portable. Then we're going to set up whatever we see roughly. This is really very rough. Now I'm going to check all the negative shapes that I see. I still don't know exactly how the baseboard runs, but I can check this. So I do mark it, and all the vertical lines really help, like a plumb line. And I'm not sure if we talked about a plumb line. I will add that to it. If you have somebody to help you to check things, then that is a useful tool as well. But with this, I'm only looking at the negative shapes. Like this part of the table is like a half moon, is a negative shape. And then the wall that I see are all little negative shapes. They're tiny, but they help you to get the proportions right. Where do they cross the door jamb? Where and how much? Where and how much? Now you can measure the distance from one point on the door jamb to another point where it crosses. On the other side, I have the curtain, which is a little bit trickier because it goes under an angle. There is logic to books, and the lines need to go parallel. And you already know that. That is an analytical thing. But then you can see at the bottom, how much does the table stick out from under that book? Because that's also a negative shape. And little by little, we're going to make this drawing almost like a quilt. Yes, I drew it fast, very lightly to get started. And I will take you with the next one to see how you do that, but that's very personal. Everybody needs to do that however they see fit. You do that actually pretty fast. You kind of analyze it and then say, okay, what do I see? Okay, it's a round table. It has one leg. It is in a corner. All these things you already know. And then you start measuring and looking for negative spaces. And slowly you're building. Then there's the light and the dark. This part of the wall is actually very light. The books are darker, but if I hatch and cross hatch it, it is to show you the negative space. And between the curtain and the books is a negative space. Then there's a little table easel on top. It's folded, so you see it also as a flat thing. Now, I first made it to there, but then I see, no, it crosses the door jamb in a certain way. And you can see what lines up with that part of the table easel. When I would put a plumb line straight down, where does it cross? Where else does it cross? And then I see, of course, that the stack of books are in the wrong place. But, it's only pencils, so I erase and I adjust and erase and adjust. And bit by bit, I'm more confident in my lines to make that work. This is how we're going to work for quite a while, just corners in the house. You can look outside, which is very nice, from the window, but then not straight out. I want you to take a corner and look out. Now the top one, I really cannot see at all. It's just a sliver of a dark line. It's a portfolio, but my mind says it has a perspective, but I really cannot see that at all from where I'm sitting. So now I realize that my mind is playing tricks with me. I don't see anything at all on the top. That is the perspective too. It goes from very, I look up on top of it to I go look almost underneath it. Know that when you're drawing too, that if something doesn't add up, then it is because of that. So the direction of the baseboard is crucial, and there's a tiny bit of baseboard that sticks underneath one leg of the table, which now gives me the final direction of the whole wall, basically. That tiny little bit of negative space is helping me to see how the planks are going, the direction of the planks, the direction of the door, and there's another small, tiny small negative space also from the baseboard on the other side that is giving me the direction. Now the planks don't run completely parallel. There's a little perspective in that so that you know that, but they do run a little bit parallel. But those two negative spaces are very, very important. So even with a simple, mundane object as this, there's a lot to see and there's a lot to learn. Now, of course, with hatching and cross-hatching, you can finish it, make a beautiful drawing. You can also leave it as this in your sketchbook and go on to the next one. Now, the corner, the real corner where the two walls actually make a line, I barely saw that. It's in the dark. It's very dark there. So I didn't see it until the very last moment. But then that's another plumb line that you can use. And please do so, because now it feels like almost everything is really in perspective. If you have a micron and you want to go over it in line, that you draw everything in an outline, you can do that at this point in time. Now we have everything perfectly, pretty perfect, let's put it that way. So that's the first exercise we're going to do, and all through the week, we're going to do different exercises through the house and look at negative shapes and measuring. Measuring too. I don't measure that often. I mostly use the negative shapes. And here you have it. This is the drawing.